Hi, I'm Brett Knowles from Viva Goals. I want to give you a really quick rundown of how we hope to support that strategic sales team in your efforts. I think we're different than the other partners that you've talked to in three key ways. One is we want to actively participate in the sales cycle. We're not waiting for you to give us opportunities. What does that look like? You might be able to leverage our connections. We've been in this space for about 30 years. We've done about 3,000 OKR implementations. We probably have some connections in organizations that you're working with or their industry. We also have the ability to get to people that you can't because of your own capacity. Maybe there's blockers in the organization. Maybe it's our thought leadership that lets us get access to people who you can't reach. And then finally, maybe there's just opportunities you work on right now where having us lean in with you is going to help out. The second differentiator we think is our whole rapid deployment framework. We typically can begin on Monday and be operational on each module within a week. This allows us to operate with a fixed cost, and it's usually below people's budgetary approval level, so we're not going RFP and so forth. So we can literally start work the next week. And most importantly, I think you end up owning the relationship. Because we're in and out so fast, we're not stealing that relationship away from you. We're just working on your behalf. In fact, you can show up on Monday when we launch the meeting, Wednesday for the midpoint review, Friday for the handoff. You own the relationship. And then finally, we've got credentials that literally no one else in this space can touch. We've been here longer. There's more articles, Fortune, Forbes magazine, textbooks, and so on. So we've got the credentials that are different than most of the other players in this space. Let's talk a little bit about what we're solving for. And here's what we know. If we take a look at Gartner's research, this is literally a couple of weeks ago, they came out with their 2023 CEO priority list. And you can see that CEOs' top concerns are about growth, technology enablement, workforce, and corporate action. And these are all things that the Viva Suite focuses in on and gives us traction in the organization. And so it's about strategy execution. It's about aligning across the silos, across departments, cascading it down and across to teams and individuals. It's about employee engagement. And these are the important things that we deliver. Now, we use the whole Viva Suite. We start off with goals typically because every organization, the center of an organization, of course, is always the strategy and strategy execution. And then around that are the various Viva tools. And this is important because the strategy itself is not complete without these enabling structures. You know, the ability for example, Copilot to review that strategy and make it better. The ability for Glenn to do employee surveys, find out where the strategy is not working and fix those things. Get insights, the real live work, human capital, digital information that modifies what the surveys tell us, the ability to do pulse surveys, the whole idea of topics and linking the strategic objectives and goals, making it accessible to everyone in their day-to-day business through their connections and so forth. Yeah, it's this whole ecosystem. In fact, I take a look at these different Viva modules as almost like golf clubs. And there's no one set of golf clubs you use on every single hole. Each hole is different. It's about course management, about what your swing is, and what you can do with those clubs. Each one of these has a different role to play, and the trick is to bring the right tool in at the right point in time. We typically move in a land and expand model. So we'll start off somewhere in the organization, and it's often not at the executive level. It's going to be an early adopter that's in one or another place. And typically one of these early adopters eventually allows us to cascade into her or his department. Eventually we gain critical mass and it becomes an executive team, and then we roll across the organization. And we've got about a 90% success rate with our pilots and 80% success rate with the land and expand model. In other words, virtually every sale results in a larger sale down the road. And our clients are organizations that you're familiar with, things like Nike, British Petroleum, Air Canada, British Aerospace, and public sector organizations as well. And so what happens when organizations get this stuff right? We find that they grow faster. So once we get in OKRs and the Viva model, that on average, they're likely to grow 3 times as likely to have above average growth. We find that they're more profitable. They're about twice as profitable as the average organization. And overall, they're able to generate, a way higher shareholder return. And these are all significant numbers, and these are tested across multiple organizations. So again, we feel that we are different than the other partners, and we're here to help you succeed with a unique value proposition. For what it's worth, just a couple of extra details about us. We are a boutique consulting firm. We've been in this space since 1993 when I stepped off of my Harvard faculty role into consulting. We've got over 3,000 clients in the spaces that you play in. Companies like United Airlines, American Airlines, Air Canada, Ethiopian, Singapore, British Petroleum, Irving Oil, KS Drilling, UGI, Epcor, Imperial, and so forth. And the power side, places like Bonneville, Florida Light and Power, a nuclear power plant in Abu Dhabi, believe it or not, Hydro One, Epcor, Capital Power, and so on. As I said before, we're all about rapid deployments. Typically, each module is up and running in a week. We have fixed prices so that there's no risk on the client's part, and we've got pretty high success rates. Hopefully, that gives you some foundation in which you can think about us.